Good morning. Welcome to the Woolly Hour.
Good
Harold
morning.
Smith, the Alford Plea. So, tell me about it. Where'd this all come about?
Well, it came about from playing in a million bands, and I've always wanted to, do something on my own, see if I could pull it off, see what it would sound like in the end.
Right? Guitars, bass, singing,
Everything.
drums, everything.
Tried to do everything.
Yeah.
The only thing I really couldn't pull off was the leads. So, and I had you come in.
Well,
and
I sure appreciate that.
fill in
It was an
for that.
honor to do that.
and
It
I
sure
appreciate
was.
you doing it.
And this is a fantastic cover, man. I love this.
Oh, thank you,
I
brother.
really do. Get it now. You need to get it now. Where can you order this at? Where can you pick it up at?
It'll be available right now on Bandcamp, and it'll also be DistroKid. I'm gonna have it go through DistroKid and everything that it allows you to do. Try to get as far as possible. I'm not sure how much I'll do with it. I'm just gonna see how it goes, basically.
Right.
Just see. I plan on doing a couple more videos for it. I did one, but I want to do a couple lyric videos, or maybe a couple in the studio here.
Right.
As we try to start doing some of that stuff. But
Yeah.
I'd like
Fat
to do a
Frog.
couple more videos.
Right.
Just cause videos are the thing to do.
Yeah, they're fun. That's for sure.
Well, with the solo thing, I can't do a lot of live playing. I mean, I want to, and like you and I have discussed, playing live some with some of the local guys, but I hadn't really got there yet. So,
Yeah.
video is what's going to help me try to get everything out first.
That's great,
so,
man. Yeah.
So that's my plan.
Right. So, what's you gonna be doing next? I mean, you got any plans for
Well, I've
future
got.
stuff?
Oh yeah, I've got plenty of stuff in the works. I've got one of the bands, Militium I play in, is recording here at Fat Frog, and we'll be putting out our first EP. Also a black metal band I'm in called Mental Torture Fatigue will be putting out an EP. We'll be recording here as well. And I got a couple other groups that'll be coming through to record, and I'll have more Alford Plea stuff, and I'm gonna be working on more Wullyfinger stuff to put, to get out there.
And I sure appreciate that.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you.
yeah, very much so. And so yeah, I have a bunch of stuff in the works. It's just getting time to get through it all. With work and adult life, I don't get to work on music as much as I'd like. So you know how it goes.
Yeah. I tell you, that's getting out and playing. That's just a hard thing to do these days. I think especially with the. I don't know.
Well, with everything going on, even if you get out and play, not a lot of people are showing up yet.
Well, they're just
So-
yeah. That's what I've seen so far.
Right. So I'm not really pressing to hurry up and rush out to play, and just because the crowds are not there yet. But I'm definitely planning on doing some live playing, and getting ready for all that kind of stuff. So
Right. So how about you merchandise and stuff? Do you have any?
I do. I have a T-shirt, and I'll have a T-shirt, CD, and a sticker, and everything will be available on my Bandcamp, and it'll release next Saturday, which is May 1st, and everything should be available by then. And as things grow, I'll try to have more stuff available.
Yeah.
More T-shirt designs and
Right.
things like that. I'm just getting started, and I'm in several bands, so the solo thing, I pretty much have to do it all on my own, so it takes a little while longer.
Right.
And
Well, as far as you go out, what kind of drums are you playing now?
I play a few different kits. I'm playing a set of Yamaha Stage Custom Birch drums, and I play a set of I'm playing a set of PDP maple drums, set of X7 series, a mixture of cymbals and things.
What are your favorite cymbals that you like? Or do you just like a bunch of different? I mean, you just like different tones for different songs.
I really like a mixture. Now really, the last things that I recorded here at Fat Frog, Alan here, he has a in-house kit, which is a Gretsch maple kit
Right.
with
It's a beautiful
Zildjian.
kit too.
It is a beautiful
It is.
kit, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And he has a set of Zildjian A's, a package that he bought, and they sound amazing. So I've just been recording with those because they sound so good, and
Right.
it's a little bit different than what I have at home and that I use live. So it's just fun to play with something different.
Oh yeah, it sure is. Yeah.
So I recorded with all that stuff, and he has all that here, so people recording can just basically just come sit down and record.
Right.
So
It is
so
a
that's definitely
very
the way to go.
musician-friendly studio, that's for sure.
Very much.
Well, what about your experience recording here at Fat Frog? I mean, what did you? How was it? I mean, was it comfortable for you? Did you?
Well, I came the first time with a friend of mine, Chris Allison, wanted me to ride over here and check it out one evening. I came and met Alan and saw what he had going on at the time and heard what he had going on, and I wanted to immediately come in just because of the drum sound was so amazing. It's like it's just hard to get there's not a lot of drum rooms around this area. It's hard to get a good drum sound, and whatever he was doing was just sounded amazing to me. It's like I didn't really know
Magic.
what he was doing. So I was like, well, I would definitely want to do that because, drums are the foundation of the recording. So I knew that if I had that I could build and make something cool out of it.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up
Yeah.
coming. I wanted to
There's nothing
schedule
worse
some
than
time.
having great guitar sound and then a click clack of just a drum machine or something. To me, that's what is very attractive to
Well, I've done a lot of
the
recording.
studio.
And actually, I mean, I've been in a couple big studios that their drum sound wasn't even this good, and it's like it's just the studio and the sound of. It's just hard to get a good drum sound, and I'm super picky, of course,
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
I've done a lot of recording, and in the end result, like even when you get a good drum sound when you're doing metal, all the frequencies want to fight over everything, in the recording.
Right.
So I needed some help with that. So, and I knew he could help me.
Yeah.
So, anyway, long story short, when coming in, it's like he's laid back. He don't rush you or make you feel like you're getting on his nerves or, that kind of thing. It's a good laid back atmosphere
On
that
a
I
time
liked
frame,
a lot. And so I started coming a few hours here and there and working as I could, around work and just seeing what I could get done. And then the end result was amazing.
Fantastic. I mean, the sound of that CD is just great, man. It's
I appreciate it. I mean, most of that is all heat. Alan. I really don't know anything much about recording. I mean,
Right.
I know a little bit, but
well, how long have you been playing guitar and bass? I mean, did you start out on drums or did you start out on guitar?
I started on drums when I was a little kid, probably 3 or 4. My dad's a drummer, so as he was learning.
Fantastic growing up in a family with musicians, I'm telling you.
It is. My whole family's musicians, really, and so growing up, as he was learning, I was learning, and I got to have instruments, when I wanted them and everything, and that was really pushed, and
Does your father play guitar and stuff too?
He
or-
doesn't play guitar. He only plays drums. He always wanted to play guitar, but my uncles that played guitar, they were a little bit too old to want to teach him. By the time he wanted to learn,
Yeah.
they were over all that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he
Yeah.
picked up the drums. The way I picked up the guitar was playing in punk bands when I was a teenager. Just learning how to play little simple things from,
Right.
and basically that's it. Getting
Yeah.
the guitar players that were learning also, which I guess we're all learning, but they were learning also, and I would get them, show me how to play this song that I like so much, and
Right.
so the way that I play, I just kind of play by ear and feeling and what sounds good when I write, basically.
Yeah. Some very cool riffs on that. I mean, really
Well,
are. I mean, just
it's-
heavy. To me, it's kind of like a mixture between Sabbath and Alice in Chains. I mean,
I
that's
appreciate that.
that's just
very
what
much.
it sounds like to me. I love it.
Well, that's two of my biggest influences by far. I mean, and like I say, I just try to
There you
play
go.
what I think sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm not a super technical guitar player, so I just do what I think sounds good,
Yeah.
and then just kind of go from there.
Well, they always said 3 chords and the truth. So, just a good rhythm.
Well, as I get older and I
that's-
listen to more classic stuff, I try to learn songwriting. I'm trying to learn songwriting.
Yeah.
Like people like the Beatles. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like everybody can, anybody can write a bunch of craziness, but
Yeah.
writing a good song's what's tough, really.
It is. Yeah.
That'll.
Do you tend to like have a rhythm first or lyrics first? I mean, have you got a
Always have
process of anything like that, or is it just
I usually
however
have
it
a
comes?
rhythm first. Sometimes I have a drum part in mind, but usually it's a guitar part first. Now, if somebody already has a guitar part, automatically I go to the drum part. But usually it's a guitar part first. It's an
Right.
idea like that, and like maybe a groove, that I'm hearing or whatever.
right?
I love the blues and things like that are all Sabbathy, or whatever you want
Right.
to say,
Have you ever
Zeppelin,
played
things
any
like that.
like guitar or bass in a band, or is it?
I've played bass in 2 bands. I played in Sing Sing Prison when I was 19, and then I played in Goliath when I was about maybe 30. And that's because they already had great drummers in the band,
Sure.
and the bass player's spot was what was open. So
Yeah, I understand.
both times I bought a bass and bought an amp and got into all that and became
Yeah.
a bass player.
Fantastic.
Well, I just want to, learn how
Yeah.
music works either way,
Yeah.
and be involved. And usually, being from these little towns around here, you don't have a million spots to choose from. You just kind of got to get in where you fit in, and if it's
Yeah.
on the bass or
And there's so many cliques around this area, as far as musicians,
There
it's-
are.
and you'll get in a circle and you'll know these people forever, and then there's this whole other circle over here that you've never even met before.
there's a lot of that.
But you seem to be a
especially
person that is in all these circles, though. You
Well, I
really
try
seem to be.
I keep up with the local scene. I always have. I've tried to, and the internet makes that a lot easier these days because I can't go to all the shows anymore like I used to. But if you if you watch on the internet and watch all the local bands and stuff, I try to pay attention to what everybody's doing and at least keep up with it and see
Absolutely.
and go out and see when I can.
Yeah. But back again, having them work every day, keeping that thing
Yeah.
going, and then trying to keep that life going too. It gets
Right.
a little hard sometimes, but
It is. I miss a lot of things because I work second shift, so I miss some things I want to see. Especially, there's tons of concerts that come through on the weeknight that I miss because of that. And you have to be
Right.
an adult and do what you got to do. Not saying that there's not some time I have taken off to see it or
sure.
yeah.
That's what
But-
sick days are for, ain't it?
That's exactly right. Yeah. But I mean, the local scene around here has a lot of stuff in it. It's just in a lot of people, a lot of awesome musicians. You just don't hear a lot about it because, I mean, it's just, I guess it's just because it's just a smaller town. You hear about the bigger towns, which hopefully this will help get that out there some.
Yeah, that'd be nice, you know.
It would.
There's so much great musicians and music around here that
There is.
you know.
Really,
I'm
there is.
really surprised that this area is not a little bigger than it. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like many bands make it out of the area as far as like popularity, but they should. There's always bands that deserve it and pay their dues and everything, but they just don't really. Outside of the area, they go on tour and they're playing to nobody,
Right.
you know, because.
Well, man, you got a few more minutes. I was going to take a little break, and
I got plenty of time.
all right, a little word from our sponsor, and
All right.
y'all stick around if you can. Harold Smith. All right. Well, welcome back.
We back.
Woolly Hour. That's right. Special guest here,
That's right.
Harold Smith. Well, I have a couple of questions for you that I'd like to. I mean, the Alford Plea. What? That's a unique name. I mean, that's where did you get that from?
Well, actually, I got it from the West Memphis 3. You ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's back in the 90s. There was 3 kids that got murdered, and 3 other kids got charged for their murder.
Oh,
Okay, and then they put them in prison. And they stayed in prison for years, and later they, because of forensics, they realized that they weren't guilty. So they let them out of prison with time served, and they had to give an Alford plea. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it,
right.
which is a legal term that means they gave them time served, and you have to, it's like you're pleading guilty to get out of jail, basically, you know.
Right.
So it's like you're paying for things that you didn't do, basically. So that's where the name came from. That was the first
Okay.
time I heard it. So I used it for a band about 10 years ago with some buddies I had. That was a little blues band that never really did anything. So later on, when I decided to do a solo project, you know, a name is so hard to come by, and it kind of fit to what I
Yeah.
was thinking. So
Absolutely.
I said, hell, I'll pull it out and use that name, you
Why
know,
not?
because
Yeah.
I mean, really, names are so hard to come by
Yeah, they
that
are.
are unique, and it just has a little ring to it, I thought.
Yeah.
So
And sometimes you come up with a name that really hits home with you and makes you, you know, just
Right.
something that you really like to hear, I guess, you know.
right, and that one I thought that it would kind of be like it wouldn't paint me in a corner. It doesn't sound like, you know, you don't know what it is when
Yeah,
you hear
absolutely.
the name. It
Yeah.
is like, you know, when you see the cover, it does look metal looking, you know. and
Well, speaking
what I
of the
look at.
cover, I mean, where did you get the idea for that at?
Well, it's I picked it because of the wolf in sheep's clothing picture, but it's Aleister Crowley's daughter, and the reason that I picked that is because she was you know, a highly misunderstood person that had a lot of problems because of just because of her family,
Right.
which is another you know, kind of idea that's in the music a little bit on this album, is how, you know, like you inherit things from, you know, from your family and from
Right.
things like that into
Right.
your life that have nothing to do with you, but you deal with it anyway. You know,
Absolutely.
it's just ideas like that.
Right.
And it's, you know, I try to, when you,
Sins of the father.
right, yeah, basically,
Yeah.
you know, and I seen that coming from, I came from 2 different families that were, you know, basically a bunch of wild people of all different kinds, you know, so I saw a lot of
Right.
that growing up, how, you know,
Yeah.
it affects everything, and
Yeah.
that was another idea.
A lot of
that I
different
had.
views from a lot of different sides.
Very much so, and, you know, also in writing lyrics and things like that, I'm kind of new to it, so that's it's a hard thing for me to come up with. I listen to such a wide variety of metal that it's hard for me to come up with something that I hadn't heard already or the idea that I hadn't seen already. You know.
I would imagine that would be very hard.
Yeah,
Which
it
that's
does.
I think that's hard for every genre of music.
It
Really.
is.
I
It very,
mean,
especially at this point.
because what country lick has not been done? What
Right.
drum beat hadn't been done? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to come up with that.
It's real hard to come up with something unique, especially in it land on your ears right and not just sound like a bunch of craziness.
Yeah.
You know
But
what
to
I mean?
me, I think the individualist of that is being able to write the lyrics,
Right.
and you can write your music. So to me, I think that has a. I don't know. I mean, I think there's plenty of room for originality, personally. You
Right.
know, even though it's hard to come up with it, but maybe it's just people need to dig deeper to get it. Maybe. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think people are doing some original stuff. I hear original stuff all the time, but it's just not in. Most of the time, not in popular music. You got to
Yeah.
search for it, you know. But
And a
there's
lot
some
of
bands
times,
out
I
there.
mean, you have to have an actual event. You have to have something happens to you, and that makes you write a song, makes you write something completely different. You know.
Yeah, for real. Especially when it comes to stuff that's, I didn't want to write music that was about dragons and whatever, just made up stuff. Like I like stuff that people have done, stuff
Yeah.
like Dio done a lot of that kind of stuff, and I like that kind of stuff. I just didn't want to do that for my solo thing.
Right.
I wanted it to be more relatable to people,
Yeah.
as they read the lyrics or
Yeah.
hear the material, whatever,
Yeah. I know nothing about dragons, but the things I do know about, that's what I
Yeah.
try to write
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
That's what
of
I kind of
course.
feel about too.
Well, I just want it to be where when people hear, when people hear this music, I just want it to be relatable. That was one of the things I wanted. And I didn't want it to be, I play so much different kinds of metal, and I wanted it to be more accessible, not as much, which in this, so far, there's no heavy vocals really. But I didn't really want it to be a bunch of heavy vocals. I want it to be clean, harmonies, melody,
Yeah.
harmony, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
To me, that's what hits my ear when I listen to something.
Me too.
I like a good melody, and I like something that I can remember,
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
and not be so many parts. I like stuff like that. To
Me
me,
too,
that's
yeah.
I like that kind of. I guess that's why I like Sabbath so much. It was just, Iommi was just a rhythm master, and
Well, it's like I grew up listening to. My dad was super big into all the good stuff from the '70s, so I grew up listening to all that. That's my favorite everything, So
Right.
that's all good stuff with melody, harmony.
Yeah.
It's back when music had all that. Really.
Well, another question for you. You made a video.
Right.
Who did you use, and what was your experience like making the video?
I used Brando Jones, who did some awesome videos for some local guys, Black River Rebels that I had seen.
Great band.
Yeah, and I
great videos too. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I thought the videos were amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and it's been a long time since I'd made any videos and didn't really know anybody that did anything like that. So I just reached out to them. They were super awesome guys, professional,
Easy to work with.
super easy to work with. They made sure I got what I wanted out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it was the first time that I'd ever did anything like that, where by myself, And then I brought you in, and
It's an amazing
I
experience.
didn't really know what to expect or whatever, but it was super. It wasn't bad at all. Not like I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be.
Me neither. Yeah.
And I've made a lot of videos over the years that were tough.
Right.
It was 12 hours of being in the hot, just take after take after take after take. And this wasn't like that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The guys, I also had you out. Now, Alan came out and we had a good time. I mean, it was just like hanging
The
out.
whole studio
you know?
they had was just really cool.
Yeah,
you know,
going there was cool,
Yeah.
and seeing that professional, real studio, I had never really seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Videos I had made were out in the woods or at a club or whatever. I had
Yeah.
never been to a real movie, TV studio
Right.
or whatever like that. So that was pretty unique. And but I wanted my first video to be something I could be real proud of and something that I knew would turn out,
Right.
amazing. And with the recording being so good, I didn't want the video to be, janky and just kind of whatever. I wanted it to be awesome, So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why I went with those guys and
Right.
made sure that I did that.
Yeah.
And
Well, they did a fabulous job.
thank
you know,
you.
And
And I appreciate those guys. They were awesome to me, and they've even after the fact, anything that I've needed, they've helped me.
Mhm.
And I'm not good with technology, so
Well,
if a
what about
studio or somebody like that will help me with technology, that really means a lot to me. Just like
Right.
Alan helps me with technology.
well, that's
so,
yeah. To me, that's what's so easy about coming here to Fat Frog is that you have an idea and he can put that idea
right.
down for you. There's no
Yeah.
way I could do that. I can just
No, me
I
either.
can play it,
Me
but that's
either.
about it.
I have ideas, but I don't know how to get them on the recordings.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a little bit over my
Yeah.
head.
And my phone recording sucks. So.
Yeah, of course. Always terrible.
Well, something I did here is your artwork. Now, how many album covers have you actually drawn?
Oh man. I'd probably say at this point I'd say a dozen or so.
Have you been drawing as long as you've been playing too?
I have. I started drawing when I was a little kid, and it really took me a long time to realize the reason that I draw is I think because I was into He-Man so much when I was a little kid.
Oh yeah.
So I've drawn my whole life, and I didn't really do anything with it much until recently. The last several years, I've been doing album covers and T-shirts and this, that, and the other. And the way I normally do it is I just draw it out, scan it into the computer, and then we finish it out like that or whatever. But it's that's something that's still a little bit new to me. Is actually I've drawn my whole life, but I've really not done anything with it but put it in
Right.
a book.
Yeah.
Now I'm using some of my artwork, so that's
Right.
really cool.
And
And I appreciate the bands. Like I'm in a band called Legba that
I was fixing to ask about them. And how many albums have y'all had?
we put out 4.
Did you draw the?
I did. I've
Artwork
done
on
the
all that.
artwork for all those albums, front and back, and the CD tops. Also I was in Black Hand Throne. I did it. So, but I've been doing that for a while, and I really enjoyed. I appreciate those guys letting me use my artwork. That's really cool of them to let me use it too. Because we could do anything.
Right.
So
Right.
that really, and it gives it a little bit of a different look. Because it's unique looking. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And Legba, I mean, y'all have sold a pretty good bit of music, haven't you?
We have actually gained a lot of popularity, especially in Europe, and that's myself and Todd Holford and Chris Driggers, and we put out 4 records, and I'm really proud of that group.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We've really gained a lot of ground from a site called Doomed and Stoned.
Right.
He's really helped us get out there a lot. That guy, Billy Goat,
Right.
he's an amazing dude. He helps bands that, small bands. So you got to appreciate people that do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Harold, I sure do appreciate you coming by here today and talking to me, man.
Well, thank you for
very
having
much,
me.
man.
I'd like to come back sometime.
Anytime. You're welcome. Anytime, brother.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate everything that you've done for me, man. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, sir.
All right. Well, from the Fat Frog Studio, y'all have a good one.